Patrick Mahomes might as well be saying MAGAs buy sneakers too. Chris Graham here in Augusta Free Press. So Donald Trump loves Mrs. Mahomes, as he called her, Brittany Mahomes, the wife of Patrick Mahomes, the Kansas City quarterback, teammate of Travis Kelce, the tight end for Kansas City Chiefs, who is the boyfriend of Taylor Swift. Yes, that Taylor Swift, the pop superstar who endorsed Kamala Harris for president, not Donald Trump. If she'd endorsed Donald Trump would love celebrity endorsements. And when she endorsed Kamala Harris, he's threatening that her career will be ruined, and his MAGA sycophants are threatening rape. Oh, Elon Musk, even worse than that, threatened to, give her a baby, which he didn't imply he was going to like give her a baby. He implied he was going to help her make a baby. Yeah. Brittany Mahomes, back to her as a Trump favorite because she revealed her political leanings on Instagram last month. She liked some MAGA post. She took some heat. She gave it back. Good for her. I mean, like who you like. At least we know where she stands, right? And I think that's where we are in America today. She's Taylor Swift's one-time bestie, former bestie. I'm not sure about now. Um, but the response to Brittany Mahomes was, I mean, there was some hate from the left, and that's unfortunate too. I don't know that she was threatened with rape. I don't know that she was threatened with a love session with Elon Musk. And then another Trumper suggested that we repeal the 19th Amendment. They gave women the right to vote. Um, and where does Patrick Mahomes stand on all this? I mean, because I mean that's his main pass receiving target's girlfriend, right? He was asked about this at a press conference on one Wednesday, and this is what Patrick Mahomes, had to say. I don't want my place and my platform to be used to endorse a candidate or do whatever either way. So there you go. Take a stand, Patrick. I admire your wife more than I admire you. I mean, I don't, even though I don't like who she's standing with, at least she's standing, not being wishy-washy. And he also gave the "do your own research" line in his quote, which sounds an awful lot like the QB anon Aaron Rodgers. You see what I did there, right? When you talk about research, that's who comes to mind. Another person this week involved in the Taylor Swift issue. I'm not going to call it a controversy because it's not a controversy. Taylor Swift, she did what she should be able to do too, just like I've done what I should be able to do. We'll address that in a second. Caitlin Clark is telling a similar line. She liked a post that, in fact, the post that Taylor Swift used to endorse Kamala Harris. And she was asked about that on Wednesday. And she said in response, I think for myself, I have this amazing platform. So I think the biggest thing will be just to encourage people to register to vote. And so there was her answer. Um, and the backdrop to her answer is similar to the backdrop to the response from to Taylor Swift from the right. What's interesting here is culture warriors on the far right have been using Caitlin Clark as a cudgel against the rest of the WNBA. I mean, the WNBA is 75% black. She being Caitlin Clark has been the focus of a lot of rough play from fellow WNBA players who have been resentful of all the attention she's been getting and far right MAGA extremist types who don't watch women's sports. Same ones who tell you that it's a travesty that somehow supposed men compete in women's sports. Again, they don't watch them, so how do they even have any idea what women's sports are? But they're using them as a political issue, and that's what's important to them. They decided they like Caitlin Clark, and now they don't. And man, she's getting flooded with negative messages and threats and all kinds of stuff that you would expect a woman to get when they don't do what MAGAs want them to do. Because MAGAs think of women, and I don't care if you're watching this and you're a MAGA, you know what you think of women. You think of women to make your dinner, you think of women for sex, and you think of women to shut up otherwise. Well, guess what? That ain't the way the world works. And I know what Make America Great Again stands for. We're going to go back to the days when you thought that your parents, your father and your grandfather did that. I don't know if you've ever like actually sat down and talked with your mother or grandmother. I've talked with my mother and my grandmother, and they didn't take S off of my father and grandfather. They gave them more than they got. So this America that you're being sold didn't exist even then. But anyway, uh, One complaint that kept coming up too, in addition to the threats and the violence and everything else, was that Caitlin Clark didn't learn from Michael Jordan's famous slash infamous Republicans buy sneakers shoe, that line he gave back in 1988 when he was asked why he wasn't endorsing Harvey Gantt, the black Charlotte mayor who was running the Democratic nominee against the super racist Republican Jesse Helms. He was Trump before Trump back in 1988. And Jordan, North Carolina's favorite son, at the height of his powers, stayed on the sidelines because he didn't want to mess up his shoe sales. The lesson from Caitlin Clark would seem to be the lesson that Patrick Mahomes should learn and that Michael Jordan never learned. Um, and it's a lesson that, hey, give her credit again. Brittany Mahomes seems to have learned. Take a stand. I don't care which way you stand, just take it. Just stand up. If you want to MAGA world, just tell us. I mean, it's good to know. If you support Kamala Harris, but you're afraid to say so because you're afraid people won't buy your sneakers, look over at Caitlin Clark, look over at Steph Curry, and put that Republicans buy sneakers to nonsense to bed. It's not like your sneakers are any better than anybody else's anyway. And so I will conclude. I'll follow up more on this tomorrow. I guarantee it. Got a nice email from somebody tonight that's gonna it kind of earned its own video and its own column. So, in any case, any questions, any comments from me about this, about any other issue, please feel free to email me at chris@augustafreepress.com.